What if I told you that the darkest night of your life wasn't a punishment but a doorway? That the very moment you thought would break you was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to shape you into someone new. Most people look back at their hardest seasons and only see the pain, the loss, the endless weight of it all. But hidden in that struggle are quiet signals that something powerful has already happened. You've passed the test your soul put before you. Think about it. You're here listening to this right now. That means no matter how heavy it felt, you didn't stay down. You carried yourself through even when you thought you couldn't take another step. That's not weakness, that's proof of transformation. Here's the thing, the soul's most painful test isn't about whether you fall, it's about whether you rise differently than before. Pain has a strange way of being the teacher no one asks for, but the one that leaves the deepest lessons. And sometimes you don't even realize you've already graduated from that class until you notice subtle signs that you are no longer the same person you were before the storm. Maybe life hasn't gotten easier, but you've gotten stronger. Maybe the things that once consumed you don't hold the same power anymore. Maybe you've begun to see yourself with a new kind of respect, one born out of survival and growth. These aren't just coincidences, they are evidence. So the question isn't whether you've been tested. The real question is, have you recognized the signs that you've already passed? Because once you see them, you'll never look at your struggles the same way again. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never expect. Sometimes it's through heartbreak, sometimes through loss, betrayal, failure, or a silence so heavy it makes you question everything about yourself. These moments don't just bruise the surface, they shake you at the core. They strip away the pieces you once held onto and force you to face the raw truth of who you are without all the things you thought defined you. And in those moments it's so easy to believe you're being punished, as if life is against you. But what if those painful seasons were never meant to be your ending, but your beginning? What if they were the fire that would burn away the weaker parts of you, leaving behind someone stronger, wiser, and unshakably real? You see, pain feels endless when you're inside it. Every day feels like another round of survival, another battle just to keep your head above water. But here's the secret most people don't realize: when you've truly passed your soul's most painful test, something inside you shifts. It's subtle at first. You don't wake up one morning and declare it's over. Instead, you notice little things, the way you don't react the same way you used to, the way peace slips in where chaos used to rule, the way gratitude replaces bitterness and strength replaces fear. And these aren't random changes. They're the proof that you've already walked through the fire and come out on the other side. That you've faced the storm and found yourself still standing, even stronger than before. Many people miss these signals because they expect victory to look like sunshine and ease. But the real victory is internal. It's in the quiet resilience you carry without even realizing it. In this video, we're going to uncover the 7 unmistakable signs that you've already passed your soul's hardest test. As you hear them, you might find yourself nodding, maybe even surprised at how much they reflect your own journey. And by the end, you'll see your pain not as wasted suffering, but as the very thing that proved your strength. One of the clearest signs that you've passed your soul's most painful test is this: you don't react the way you used to. Think about the moments that once lit a fire of anger in you, the people who used to pull you into endless arguments, or the situations that once left you completely drained. Back then, your emotions would take over before you even had a chance to breathe. You'd spiral, replay conversations in your head, and maybe even lose sleep over things you couldn't control. But now something is different. The same triggers appear, the same challenges might even show up, but your response is no longer the same. It's not that the world around you suddenly became softer, it's that you became stronger. Instead of being pulled into chaos, you feel a calm space open up inside you. Instead of reacting instantly, you pause, you breathe, you see things more clearly before choosing how to respond. And sometimes you realize you don't need to respond at all. That shift, as small as it may seem, is monumental, because it means you're no longer controlled by old wounds, you've grown beyond them. This change doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of everything you've endured, every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it. The storm carved out a new version of you, one who no longer hands over their peace so easily. Where once you would have lashed out or collapsed under pressure, now you hold yourself steady. And that steadiness, it's the proof that you've passed. When you notice that your reactions are different, when the same chaos that once consumed you barely shakes you anymore, it's a sign that you've risen above the test. Because the real measure of growth isn't in changing the world around you, it's in transforming the way you move through it. And if you've reached the point where old triggers no longer own you, you've already stepped into the power your soul was trying to awaken in you all along. Another powerful sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is the way you now carry peace inside you, even when life around you feels chaotic. Before, the smallest disruption might have sent you spiraling: traffic, a harsh word, a sudden setback. Your inner world was a mirror of the outside world, constantly shaken by whatever storm blew your way. But now something feels different. The storm still comes, but it doesn't enter you the way it used to. Instead of being swept away by every wave, you've become the anchor. Inner peace doesn't mean your life is suddenly perfect. It doesn't mean bad things stop happening or that challenges disappear. What it means is that your center of gravity has shifted. You've stopped depending on external circumstances to feel okay, and you've started building that feeling from within. It's the quiet sense that no matter how loud or messy the world gets, there's a calm inside you that can't be touched. That calm isn't weakness, it's power. It's proof of everything you've endured and everything you've learned. Think about it. The old you might have exploded, panicked, or drowned in anxiety. The new you notices the storm, acknowledges it, but doesn't let it take over. That ability to stay steady, to breathe through the chaos, is not accidental. It's the result of walking through pain so deep that you had no choice but to find stillness within yourself. You discovered that peace is not out there waiting to be handed to you. It was always inside, waiting for you to uncover it. And that's the transformation. The storm hasn't changed, but you have. When you can sit in the middle of noise, uncertainty, or even conflict and still feel an unshakable calm at your core, you've already proven that you've passed. Because the ultimate test of the soul isn't how well you avoid chaos, it's how gracefully you stand in the middle of it. And if you've reached that place where peace is your default, even when life is anything but peaceful, your soul has already won. One of the most beautiful signs that you've passed your soul's hardest test is how letting go no longer feels like an impossible battle. It begins to feel natural. There was a time when you held on tightly to everything: the pain, the memories, the people who hurt you, even the what-ifs that kept replaying in your head. You clung to them because in some way they felt like a part of you. Letting go felt like losing a piece of yourself, like releasing meant forgetting, and forgetting felt impossible. But with time you've learned a deeper truth. Holding on only kept you chained to the past, while letting go opened the door to freedom. Now, instead of replaying old wounds, you allow them to fade. Instead of holding grudges, you recognize that forgiveness isn't about excusing what happened, it's about freeing yourself from the weight of it. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care, and it doesn't erase the lessons. It simply means you've grown strong enough to release what no longer serves you. You stop trying to rewrite the story or change the outcome. You accept it for what it was and honor yourself for surviving it. The shift is powerful. Where once your hands were clenched around pain, now they are open to receive something better. You no longer see letting go as weakness. It has become a sign of your strength, because it takes courage to walk away from what once defined you. It takes wisdom to realize that not everything and not everyone is meant to stay. And here's the truth: when letting go becomes natural, it means your soul has already healed to the point where the past doesn't control you anymore. You're not desperate to keep what hurt you, nor are you afraid of what comes next. You trust the flow, you trust yourself, and you trust life enough to release what needs to go. That ease of release is not just growth, it's proof you've passed the test your soul set for you. Another unmistakable sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is when you begin to feel gratitude for the very struggles that once broke you. In the beginning, pain feels like nothing but suffering. You ask yourself why it had to happen, why life seemed so unfair, why you had to carry so much weight while others seemed to move so freely. Gratitude is the last thing on your mind when you're deep in the storm. But once you've walked through the fire and come out the other side, your perspective shifts. You start to see that every heartbreak, every setback, every night you thought would never end shaped you in ways nothing else could. You look back at the struggles and realize they taught you lessons no book or teacher ever could. They forced you to grow, to break patterns, to rise when you didn't think you could. They showed you your resilience and revealed strengths you didn't know you had. And while you may not be thankful for the pain itself, you find gratitude for what it gave you: wisdom, clarity, empathy, and a deeper sense of who you really are. This kind of gratitude doesn't come from denial, it comes from healing. You're not pretending the pain didn't hurt. You're not rewriting history to make it pretty. You're simply acknowledging that the very thing you once thought would destroy you actually transformed you. Instead of seeing only scars, you see the growth those scars represent. And that's how you know you've passed the test. Because when pain no longer defines you but instead refines you, you've shifted from victim to survivor, from broken to whole. Gratitude becomes your quiet proof. You can look at the hardest chapters of your life and instead of bitterness you feel a sense of thankfulness for the strength and wisdom you gained. That ability to see growth where once you only saw suffering is one of the clearest signs that your soul has already crossed its greatest hurdle. A powerful sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is the way you now protect your energy with stronger boundaries. In the past, you may have let people walk over you, ignored red flags, or said yes when everything inside you was screaming no. You might have believed that keeping the peace meant sacrificing your own needs, or that love meant tolerating behavior that chipped away at your worth. But after enduring deep pain, something in you changed. You learned the cost of leaving yourself unprotected, and you decided you will never let yourself bleed for the same lesson twice. Now you guard your peace the way someone guards their most precious treasure. You don't hand out your time, your trust, or your heart so easily anymore. You've realized that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. Boundaries no longer feel like walls to keep people out, they feel like doors you get to choose when and if to open. That choice, that power comes from everything you've lived through. Stronger boundaries don't mean you've become cold or closed off. Quite the opposite. They mean you've learned how to love yourself first. You understand that saying no isn't selfish, it's survival. You understand that walking away from what drains you is not weakness but wisdom. And you've stopped apologizing for protecting yourself. This shift is one of the clearest signs of growth because it shows that the pain you once went through has taught you something priceless: how to never let yourself be broken in the same way again. Your boundaries are the proof that you've taken the lesson, absorbed it, and built a stronger version of yourself from it. When you no longer allow the same patterns to repeat, when you no longer give access to people or situations that bring only harm, you've already passed the test. Because the soul doesn't just want you to survive, it wants you to rise into a place where you honor your worth, and strong, unshakable boundaries are the evidence that you've done exactly that. Another clear sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is the way your perspective has shifted. Life feels different now, not because every circumstance around you has changed, but because you see it all through new eyes. In the thick of suffering, everything feels meaningless. Pain becomes the only lens you see through, and the world looks unfair, cruel, and heavy. But once you've walked through the hardest part and begun to heal, something powerful happens. You start to notice meaning where before there was only misery.
You begin to recognize that the struggle had a purpose. It wasn't random, it wasn't pointless, it was shaping you, teaching you, guiding you into a deeper understanding of yourself and of life. You start to see challenges as stepping stones instead of dead ends. What once felt like punishment now looks more like preparation. You realize that the moments that broke you were also the moments that built you, and that realization changes everything. This shift in perspective doesn't mean you suddenly enjoy pain or go looking for struggle. It means that when life throws obstacles your way, you no longer crumble under the weight of them. Instead, you look at them with the wisdom you've gained and think, this too will serve me. This too has something to teach me. That attitude alone proves how far you've come. And it's not just about your own life, you also begin to see others differently. You carry more compassion, more patience, and more empathy because you understand that everyone is fighting battles unseen. Your pain didn't just change the way you look at your story, it changed the way you look at the whole world. When suffering no longer blinds you but instead opens your eyes to purpose and growth, you've already passed the test. Because the true mark of transformation isn't when life gets easier, it's when you become someone who can find light even in the darkest of places. That new perspective is not just a sign of healing, it's the soul's way of showing you that you've already stepped into a higher version of yourself. The final sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is the quiet confidence you now carry within you. It's not loud, it's not about showing off, and it's not about proving yourself to anyone. It's subtle, steady, and deeply rooted, a calm knowing that no matter what comes next you can handle it. Before, uncertainty may have terrified you. You may have needed constant reassurance, or you felt like you weren't strong enough to survive another storm. But now something has shifted. You've walked through fire and survived, and because of that you trust yourself in a way you never did before. This confidence doesn't need to announce itself. You don't have to argue, explain, or convince others of your strength. It shows in the way you carry yourself, in the way you approach challenges, in the way you no longer fear the unknown. You've been broken, you've been tested, and yet here you are standing taller than ever. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked because it's built on lived experience. It's the quiet voice inside that says, I've been through worse and I survived, I'll survive this too. It's the steadiness in your heart when things go wrong, the patience you have with life's timing, and the belief that no matter how difficult the road ahead may be, you already have what it takes to walk it. That is the gift pain has given you, the unshakable knowledge of your own resilience. When you no longer fear what's around the corner, when you no longer doubt your ability to rise after a fall, that's when you know you've passed the test. Because the soul's deepest lesson isn't to make you invincible, it's to show you that even in your vulnerability you are powerful beyond measure. And that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation, is the clearest proof that your hardest season has already transformed you. If you recognize these signs within yourself, then you've already proven something most people never realize. You've passed your soul's most painful test. The hardest season of your life didn't defeat you, it transformed you. Think about that for a moment. The nights you cried, the moments you thought you were finished, the times you begged for it all to stop, those were the very fires that reshaped you. They didn't take your strength away, they revealed it. They didn't steal your future, they prepared you for it. And now every scar you carry is no longer just a mark of pain, it's living proof of resilience. Too often we look back and only see what we lost. But when you've truly healed, you begin to see what you gained. You gained wisdom. You gained courage. You gained the kind of inner strength no one can ever take away from you. That's why these signs matter, because they remind you that you are no longer the same person who entered the storm. You've grown into someone who can handle what life throws next, not because you'll never feel pain again, but because you now know pain cannot break you. This reflection is not about pretending the struggle didn't hurt. It's about honoring the fact that you endured it and came out the other side different, stronger, softer in some ways, sharper in others, but always wiser. The transformation wasn't loud, but it was real. And sometimes the most powerful victories are the ones that happen quietly inside of us, the ones that don't need an audience to prove they were won. So if you've seen yourself in these signs, take this as a reminder: your story is not one of defeat, it's one of transformation. The test was never about breaking you, it was about building you into who you were meant to become. And the fact that you're here standing, listening, and reflecting is proof that you've already won. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these 7 signs do you see in yourself right now? Maybe it's the way you no longer react to things that once triggered you. Maybe it's the quiet peace you carry even when life is loud and messy. Or maybe it's that sense of gratitude you've begun to feel for the struggles that once broke you. Whatever it is, I want you to share it. Because when you put it into words, you not only recognize your own growth, you remind someone else who might still be in the middle of their test that transformation is possible. Your story could be the light that helps them keep going. And if you're sitting here thinking, I see myself in more than one of these signs, then let that sink in. That means you've already come further than you give yourself credit for. You've already crossed mountains you once thought were impossible to climb. Don't let that go unnoticed. Claim it, own it, and let yourself be proud of the strength you've earned. If this video spoke to you, if it made you pause and reflect on how far you've come, then don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel because there are more videos waiting for you, videos that dive into the hidden side of growth, healing, and transformation. This is just one chapter in the journey, and there's so much more to uncover. So hit that subscribe button and join me for what's coming next. You've already proven your strength, now let's keep growing together.